You know it still hurts a little bit, but not that much.
Hi and welcome to another junk journal with me. In this one we will be making a simple mandala that everybody can do, and I'm showing you here some of the mandalas I've done in a journal from 2016 that I've done in the summer after a vacation in Egypt where I was obsessed with making mandalas, and then I came home from the vacation and I still couldn't stop, so I made some in my journal. And I have used a lot of bright colors, as you can see, because it was summer and that's what I felt like using. This one was done with a Tombow, but the rest are done with water-soluble colored pencils. So that's what we'll be doing today. And here I'm just showing you some more mandalas that I have done in that journal. And we'll be going through step by step how to make a simple but colorful and beautiful mandala that you can do in your journal. And at the end I will also be showing you what else you can do with the mandalas once it's done. A lot of fun ideas. So yeah, so this is the kind we'll be doing today, and hope you stay tuned for lots of more inspiration in this video. And I would appreciate if you would subscribe so that you can get lots more ideas in future videos. So here I'm showing you all the tools I'm going to be using to make one of the mandalas, and I just took out a page from the journal that I wanted to do the mandala on because it's much easier. So you'll need a compass and a protractor, and here you have a pencil, and I'm using my they're Albrecht Dürer water-soluble pencils. You can use any kind, like for example maybe you have the Derwent Inktense ones, or the Caran d'Ache, or if you don't have any of these you could use crayons, the water-soluble crayons. You could use watercolors. Here I have some Liquitex clear gesso. I will be linking that below. You can also use you can use any brush. You don't need a water brush. You could use just colored pencils, regular colored pencils, or you can use markers. So anything you have. And this is a rollerball pen. You can also use just a regular ballpoint pen. So this is a very cheap protractor, but I find it works very well. So all I'm doing here is I'm placing it on the side of the page, and I'm marking every, I think it is 5 degrees. And then I'm connecting with a ruler. I forgot to show a ruler, so you'll need some kind of a ruler or a straight edge so that you can connect each of these points that you just made with the center of where you had that protractor. So that is the beginning of your mandala. Very easy. So they should be spaced out equally at this point. Now the next step is to use your compass to draw half circles. And I'm not measuring the distance between the circles. I'm just kind of eyeballing it to be fairly equal. But even if it's not equal, it totally doesn't matter. So that is what it should look like at that point. And now the creative part begins. So I've erased the lines within that most inner circle because we won't be needing those. And now all I'm going to do is, the only shape I'm using for this mandala is a petal shape. And I will be using various sizes of it and various lengths, just to give it some variety. But you won't be needing any other shape for this particular mandala, and we will be making it pretty by using different vibrant colors. So here you see I'm using different width in that row, so I'm making a wide one and a narrow one. And you just use those lines that you made before as guides to keep it symmetric, and it's so easy, and I think it's so relaxing to do. I really enjoy these, and I'm again obsessed with them. I couldn't stop once I made this video, and I was actually quite nervous to make this video because I haven't made a mandala in about 3 years. And yeah, I used to make all different kinds. Also, in another book that I will show you at the end of the video, some more examples of what you could maybe do. And there's so many tutorials on YouTube. If you need ideas for mandalas, or you need more detailed instruction or a better tutorial, just type in mandala tutorial and you will find hundreds of fantastic videos. There's so many ideas and so many styles you can do it, so many methods. You can use so many media for this, so there's really no limit to what you can do with mandalas, and they're just relaxing and therapeutic to make, I believe. So there's many different ways of doing this. I'm not saying this is the best way or the perfect way, but this is how I enjoy doing mine, and so that's why I wanted to share that. So now we have the outline of the petals, and what I'm gonna do offline is I just erased a lot of the unnecessary lines, because the next step we'll be doing is we'll be putting on the clear gesso, and this is so that the color that we'll be adding now will be more vibrant. And you will see now when I go over this with water how incredibly brilliant the color will get. Now if you don't have clear gesso, you can obviously also do this without the gesso. It just means that the colors won't be as vibrant, and I will show you an example of that later on, how that would look, for example, on a book page without using the clear gesso. And I'll also show you an example of what it will look like without the clear gesso on a watercolor page or paper. So on every surface it will look different. With every colors or every type of marker or watercolor or whatever, it will obviously look very different. So I think it's very fun to just experiment. That is a joy for me, to never know what the outcome will actually look like until it's done. So that's what keeps it kind of exciting for me. And now when I do the coloring, so there's two things that, two tips that I would like to share. So first of all, you don't need to color the whole petal, because the colors are so intense that you only have to put a little bit of color on like the bottom edge of the petal, and then you can move it with the water. You can move the color upwards. That way also you will have a little bit more of a shading. And I will go over some of these areas once more once they're dry, just to have some more shading. And the second tip I have is, just as if you were working with watercolors, you should not work on petals that are next to each other without them drying first, because the colors will mix with each other, and you don't want that. So I'm just going to continue with this same method all the way up until I have colored in all of those petals.
You know it still hurts a little bit, but not that much. 'Cause if you want somebody else, who am I to judge?
And don't worry about if you're coloring a little bit outside of those lines. Once we add the black pen to outline the petals, you won't see any of that anymore. That will cover up all your mistakes. So don't stress about being perfect, because this is a handmade mandala. It's not supposed to be perfect. It's not supposed to look like a computer program did it. So we do want it looking unique. And now I'm just drying it quickly with my heat gun so that I can do that last part without mixing with that turquoise. And now I'm just going to go over some of those parts to darken some up, to make some more shading where I thought it needed some more.
I've been thinking about you all the time, but that's alright. I'm starting to get used to it, think I'll survive. I met you in the summer, when you left it was cold. Said we loved one another, guess that we were wrong.
Okay, so now we're done with the coloring, and now we're going to start outlining. So I have this black gel pen, but I've also used on my other one that you will see that I've done on watercolor paper, I've actually just used a purple ballpoint pen, which doesn't make the outlines quite as harsh as on this one, which I rather liked. But for this one, I was happy with the black outlines. So I'm just going around all of those petals, and now at the end I'm going to go around this circle. And finally I'm going to be adding a few lines for additional shading that comes out of the center bottom of each petal, and I will hold that up closer in a moment so that you see that better. Very, very simple and very quick to do. So there you see that, but it adds so much to it. So our mandala is finished. Now I'm going to slip that right back into my flexible binding of my journal. And I also wanted to journal on this page, so I looked up the meaning of mandalas, and I'm going to read to you what I'm writing right there. And I wrote, the literal meaning of the word mandala means circle, and circle mandalas are also one of the most commonly available form of mandalas. Ancient Hindu scriptures depict mandalas as a period of creativity, of powerful existence, and a symbol of deeper connection with the self and the universe at large. So there you go. So now here you see, this is a comparison. So on the left we have the book page one without the clear gesso. In the middle we have the watercolor paper without gesso, and on the right we have the one we just did with the gesso. So I wanted to use this one on the book page without the gesso. So you see the colors are a lot more pastel, which is also pretty. And I'm going to cut this one down and then glue it onto a random cardstock. And now I'm going to be cutting around that, but I'm going to leave a little bit of a border just because I think it looks nice and it's easier to cut. And I'm going to ink those edges. And there, you could use that as an embellishment just as it is. You could pop it onto a pocket or a tuck spot or whatever you want you could do with it. I'm going to be using the mandala as a tuck spot, and I'm just going to, so I chose this page to put it on. I don't have that many left in this book anymore, so I think I might do one more journaling session in it, and then we have a flip through before I move on to my next journal. And so here I'm just cutting two straight edges to form a corner so that I can attach it in that corner of my page. Just gluing that down with some liquid glue. I'm just going to clamp that down to make sure it holds well while it dries. And then I wanted to make a journaling card to pop in there. And I had recently received this beautiful, beautiful floral washi. And I thought I would make a journaling card out of that. So all I'm doing is I'm going to glue that onto my cardstock. Well, I'm not gluing it on, it's self-adhesive, obviously. It's a washi tape. And now I'm just going to cut it down to a journaling card size. And I'm rounding the corners as well. And then I'm going to ink that up. And that's such a simple way of making a beautiful journaling card. And now I'm going into my words, and I'm using these cutouts from a children's book. I'm linking again the video from Natasa from Treasure Books a bit down below to her video explaining how to do this and what to watch out for. And I chose this one, which I thought went so well with this, actually for this time of year. And for this journaling card, because it has summery flowers on there. So I'm just inking that up and gonna glue that down as it is. And there you have a really cute journaling card. So it says the summer sun was hot, and if you're in Europe you will know the kind of heat waves we've been having. So yeah, I will be journaling later off camera. And here I wanted to show you some Other things you can do with your mandalas, if you're able to scan your mandalas and you have a little bit of editing skills. So I made some letter paper using this, always the same mandala for my watercolor page. So I made various letter papers that you can write letters on, and even some journaling cards. So I had a lot of fun playing around with these. And now I'll be showing you some mandalas from 2016 from my book of mandalas. Just a few more inspirational photos maybe that can inspire you to give it a go. These are a little bit more intricate. And I want to encourage you to please sign up for one of my free Skype journaling spots. The link is in my description box below. I would love to get to know you personally. If you have any journaling questions or you just want to show me your journal, please book a session with me. There's slots available. Yeah, and otherwise, please subscribe if you haven't. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more inspirational ideas, hit that bell notification, and I hope to see you in the next video. Have a great day. Bye.